Hey Monty, what's going on? This is Rob and Brian over at RHAP. Monty, I would love to hear about this grueling challenge that you and Tyler went through 3 hours. I mean, I know
Yeah.
they cut it down to just a couple of minutes, but what was that like in the real time?
Yeah, it was terrible. It was one of the most grueling things I've ever done. I mean, every adjective that you can think of for hard, that's what I would describe it as. It required a lot of patience, a lot of persistence too. The cool part was Tyler and I are close, so we're literally talking to each other throughout the entire elimination, like just trying to encourage one another, like, don't give up, man. Come on, like let's. And honestly, we just wanted one of us to finish at some point. We were just like, we want this to get over with. But dude, I mean, we still got bruises on our hips from that damn harness. It was a lot going on. I think Tyler will have an opportunity to probably talk a little bit more towards his strategy, but he figured out a way to kind of clear out the sand to make sure that the balls stayed in that pyramid shape. Whereas me, like I was adding sand, thinking that that would help, but it was actually doing the exact opposite. So, yeah, it was tough, man. But he came out with the right strategy.
I'm curious in the daily, we had the four different groups and they seemed to have all different strategies about how they would go about maybe helping each other or not. Was there anything either how, you talking about it back at the house or even watching it back? Was there any grouping of people that helped each other that was surprising to you when you see them kind of helping each other out to try to win? Was there anything surprising during that daily?
Yeah, I mean, watching back, I think well, the two surprising things were that Sebastian didn't get any help from Tori, which I thought was hilarious. I thought that that was so funny because poor Sebastian, was head over heels for Tori since like day one. But then the last group with Josh, Corey, Desi, and Chris, I think it was a really smart move, but pretty ballsy for Chris to help out Josh, who is a vet, big brother, kind of on the surface opposed to him in the game front. But for him to help him out and sort of assume that he would have his back in return, I think that was a good move socially. So, but yeah, I mean, even Bananas, he had tried to give us a hint, and it was just literally the perfect thing to say to throw us off, but to also try to help us. So I thought that that was funny. And afterwards, when he explained, I was like, "Oh my god, dude! Like we were just unlucky with the word he told us." But
Do you think he was genuinely trying to be misleading, or does he think pause was like he was trying to actually just help you?
no, no, he was trying to help because that was literally the word that he saw down there, and
Mm-hmm.
he just regurgitated. But he didn't think about probably how it would sound to us.
Right.
Like pause, okay, like pausing a movie. So we're thinking of all different 3 or 4 letter words that have to deal with play or music,
Mm-hmm.
whatever.
At this point in the game, were you more concerned with Survivor or with the vets?
I think at this point, definitely Survivor. What we had started to realize was at the beginning, we were all on the same page, at least when it comes to the people I was aligned with, around getting the challenge vets out. And even folks within Survivor were on the same page. Where I think things started to crack was when the blue team decided to block us from winning the green team.
Mm-hmm.
And then the red team had that crazy deliberation. It's a complete screaming match with Josh, Janelle, and everybody in
Yeah.
there. And when I think people who could have had some of the Survivor people's back didn't, and even Dusty, I think he had an opportunity to save Lewis and didn't. A lot of that started to just shift up relationships. And now you got Desi in there nominated with Lewis, and now they have to make decisions that may not include us. And we can kind of tell, like, all right, they're not telling us as much information because I don't think they trust us as much because now they've been targeted as a group. And then we realized they never voted for each other. These 7 people have never placed the ball on one another. Meanwhile, you got Big Brother voting for each other left and right since we walked into the damn house. So we knew that we were all over the place, but we saw how strong Survivor was. It's like, all right, that's 7 people. If they're all aligned, they can just continue to put those 7 balls on somebody afterwards and just run the game. So I think me and Tyler wanted to get ahead of that. Wes started to recognize it, but mostly because he had his qualms with Cassidy. So yeah, that was the dynamic.
We've seen like Michelle this week was highlighted, but also Fessel and Josh, the people that are like the intermediaries between, like, they were CBS, but they're also the challenge. How have they been focused by like, a lot of people in the house, or are they actually doing a pretty good job at this point, kind of snaking on in between these two sides and letting them take shots at each other? How do you feel like that sect of people have been kind of navigating so far?
I think they've been navigating it great, honestly. I mean, I think that's probably the sweetest position to be in because you have so many reasons to be aligned with so many people in the house. I will say that, it definitely put their game at risk because at times they would have to show their cards. Like, who are you actually going to vote for? Who are you going to nominate? So at the beginning, I would say Josh made it very apparent that he had a lot more emotional attachment to the vets than he did to us as Big Brother because he didn't know us, and he had no idea whether we were slime balls or whether we could, work together or whatever. Then eventually, as time moved on, he started seeing what we were seeing with Survivor. And then we got on the same page, like, dude, why are we targeting each other? This makes no sense, So that came a little bit later. And then even with Michelle, she caught those, what was it, 3 balls at the beginning when she went down. And after that, I don't think she ever received not 1 ball, like up until this elimination. So they're clearly in the sweetest spot, in the game. But I also think that they've done a great job of trying to play as many sides as they could without being too obvious on who they support.
Monte, could you tell us a little bit more about what's going on at the house? Are there any things that are happening in the house in the game that we haven't seen on the show that would be interesting?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Well, I'll say this. I dislocated my shoulder after the Working the Polls challenge.
Okay.
So that happened. I got an X-ray the day after. They said it was in place, but it definitely affected my swimming afterwards. Like, thank God there were no hanging challenges where I literally have to like hold on for dear life or something. So I was lucky on that front. Me, Bananas, and Tori after the competition where we're swinging from the semi trucks where they blocked us.
Yeah.
That was a lot more intense than I think you guys realize. Because first of all, I didn't care about the disc at some point. Once I realized I'm not getting past this dude, I just rammed into Bananas at least a good 4 or 5 times. And 1, to like make him regret doing it. 2, to also make a point, my shoulder's fine. So I'm going to ram into you with my right shoulder so you can feel that. And then after that, like, it was at least 10 minutes of us just screaming back and forth at each other. And it was all like not personal stuff, very competitive, like this fiery stuff. But then after that, we had our conversations, kind of had like a peace treaty between the 3 of us, and that was that. But other than that, I mean, these folks, they are, what you see on TV is what you get in person, man. They are characters, man, but so fun to be around too.
I don't know if you'd be keeping up much with the current Big Brother season, but is there anyone you're eyeing that you're hoping maybe challenge you, say 3, they're on it with you, that you want to work with, play the game with? Is there anyone you're hoping to maybe they make the leap to the challenge alongside with you?
Well, I mean, Matt, I hear, is a good swimmer. So, and not a good swimmer, like a great swimmer. So if Matt gets the opportunity to go on the next season, I definitely want to make sure I'm aligned with him. Dude's in good shape. Also seems like a very personable guy. Isn't somebody who's going to, have a lot of reasons why people don't like him. So I think that Matt will probably be at the forefront for me. Everybody else, I'm kind of indifferent towards. I haven't really, Big Brother doesn't give you a chance to show physical prowess all that much. Like, I remember when I was in the house, everybody kept saying, "Oh, Monty's a big threat." I was like, dude, I don't know what the hell I've done, but none of these competitions show that I'm a big threat. Like, I'm over here slipping on these little platforms and stuff in these little carnival games. So I don't really see it as a place where you show your physicality. But knowing that Matt has that background, I think I'd want to work with him.
Okay. All right. Well, Monty, thank you so much for coming on and making some time to talk about the challenge, and all the best outside the show. Okay.
I appreciate it, guys.
All right.
Thanks for having me.
Take care, Monty.